Hello, Telio there champs, and here is the ASUS Vivobook 16X creator laptop. And yes, it's a 16-inch laptop made for creators. We need to know how it games, so we're going to do the old God of War treatment to this thing. We're going to see how it plays games. I'll just quickly put up the Firestrike for you. There's the Firestrike 3050 Ti 50 watt, but you're going to be amazed at the performance of this. I was very amazed. I was actually able to play 1600p on God of War, so amazing performance from this thing considering what it is, right? It is a thin and light 16-inch. It is much thinner than all the other 16 inches, I can tell you. It's actually lighter than most 15 inches. It's under 4 pounds, 3.99 pounds. You can notice how light this thing is. That's the first thing I noticed, is how light it is. It is the world's first 16-inch OLED display. This is the one I have. I have the AMD version with the Ryzen 9 5900HX RTX 3050 Ti. Of course, the world's first 4K OLED display, and this display is amazing. It is a little glossy, but have a look at the pop, right? The display looks absolutely amazing. That is 4K plus, of course. So slightly higher resolution than 4K because it is 16 by 10. And although the Vivobook is one of their more affordable laptops, it's not their studio laptops or the ZenBook. This is sort of like a more affordable sort of laptop. They didn't skimp on that display. That is like as good as you're going to get with displays. 550 nits, 100% P3. What more do you want as a creator? It is 60 Hertz, of course. Just go back here. There is an Intel version of this, but I wouldn't touch the Intel version. Now, usually I'll say you get Thunderbolt, Intel HD, etc. It's always been a reason to go to Intel is Thunderbolt. And Thunderbolt isn't just for eGPUs, of course. It's also for fast storage. I mean, I've got this thing here. This is the OWC Express SSD, external SSD. Thunderbolt 3, super fast. You put 4 M.2s in there, you can RAID it. It's just an amazing super fast storage device that if you don't have Thunderbolt, you can't have this sort of thing. So it's not just these GPUs, but in the case of these laptops, these Vivo 16Xs, there is no Thunderbolt on the Intel or AMD, so just stick with the AMD, I reckon. But this is a HX part, so it has 8 cores. The Intel version is the 11370 CPU, which is like a quad core. No, this is going to blow that away. Now, there are certain situations where Intel HD will help out, but I mean, I'd rather have the 8 cores versus 4 cores and 96 watt hour battery. So this is awesome, this thing. And look at that dial pad, right? I've got to show you this. So ASUS have laptops now with a dial pad here. And you're looking at this and you're thinking, well, this one doesn't have the dial pad, does it? Well, you'll be wrong. It does. Look at that. There you go. Dial pad on the trackpad, and I'll get rid of it by just doing that, and I can actually use this area here as the dial pad. I like that. That's very cool. Anyway, let's get stuck into it. Let's see how this thing games, and you're going to be surprised. Of course, we need the help of DLSS, but yeah, very surprising gaming performance. And here we are playing God of War, and you can see there at 1200p we're getting about 50 frames per second. This has been going for a while. It's quite hot here. So this is 1200p, 1920 by 1200. We're doing 50 watts on the GPU and about 25 watts on the CPU. The clock speed of the CPU is over 4 gigahertz, which is what we want. And you can see there pushing 60 frames per second. 50 to 60 frames per second. This is at normal settings, or should I say original settings. So it's not high or very high or ultra, and it's not very low. It is sort of like PS4, I guess, is the original settings. So that's pretty good, considering it is 1200p. So it's not, 1080p, it's 1200p. So, oh, look at that punch. That's a good one. Yeah, so it's a little bit higher resolution than 1080p. It is handling this fine. We'll put on DLSS and see if we can go to higher resolutions just in a second there. But to be able to do around 60 frames per second at 1200p, I can imagine at 1080. Oh, I've got to fight now, do I? I can imagine at 1080p, you'll be getting a constant sort of 60 frames per second. And that's the thing. You have to go to 1200p because of the aspect ratio of this 16 by 10. We'll just go in there and give a bit of DLSS because, of course, this is an NVIDIA Ultra Performance. No, I think we'll go for balanced, okay? And then we'll go back and we'll see what happens. Is it a bit over 60 frames per second now? How do I go back? Back. Come on. Oh, copped it there. There you go. We're getting a nice little boost there. We're going up to 70 frames per second on balanced. I better get my controller. Where am I? Well, here I am. Not gonna last long with this guy, am I? Let me just run around a bit here. 80 frames. Ooh, that DLSS is insane. Can you notice this difference in quality? And this is on balanced, right? You can put it on ultra performance. We're getting over a 20 frame per second sort of boost there. And I can't really see too much of a difference to the quality. Very playable. Very, very playable. It looks amazing on OLED. Look at the pop of it. It looks really awesome. Yeah, DLSS will just, you know, increase the resolution. We'll see what happens. Maybe we can play at 1440p. All right, so you cannot play 1440p, but what you can play is 1600p because of the, you know, sort of aspect ratio. I could put it to 1440p, but it'd be cropped. But we have it on DLSS performance. Do not try this without DLSS. Let's see what happens. Oh, look at that. DLSS on performance getting 60 frames per second from a 3050 Ti 50 watter. Oh, there's 70 frames. DLSS is king. It's not quite as sharp. I can see that now. You're getting the extra sharpness of the resolution, but I think you can tell that it's in performance mode overbalanced. If we're doing 70 frames, let's put it in balance mode and see what happens. So it's in balance mode here, and let's have a look. Still getting sick. Oh yeah, you can see the sharpness comes back straight away. I don't know if you can see that, but I can definitely see it. Now pushing 50 frames per second at 1600p with a 3050 Ti, man. You got to be happy with that. That's like nearly 60 FPS at 1600p, higher than 1440p. I should give him an old doof, eh? Give him a couple of doofs. Yeah, that is just amazing. We're doing over 60 FPS, 1600p. Original settings there, and we're still pushing 50 watts. And what's the temperature? Oh, the temperature is warm, 90 degrees on a CPU. As I said, it is really hot in here, so, you know, that is what it is. But we're still pushing 30 watts on that CPU, which is what you want. I think I'm going to die now. But anyway, God of War, 1600p. Original settings, and yeah, woof, there I go. I died, but yeah, it's good. I mean, that's pretty demanding, and you saw how DLSS just helped out. The display is like one of the best displays I've ever seen, so I'm really happy with the display. The performance is there. We'll see how it is for content creation. It does have a 120 watt power adapter. It is not USB-C. It's your normal sort of barrel charger there. And being a 120 watt package, this actually outperforms the XPS 15. Yeah, that's no joke, it does. Stay tuned for my full review. I'll catch you in the next one, guys. Tally ho.